Today, let's go to the end of the rainbow with this end of the rainbow baby blanket. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to go to the end of the rainbow. This is a baby and toddler size blanket. Measuring 40 inches by 44, this is a really kind of a cool effect, and of course you can substitute your colors if the rainbow is not suiting you. Now the child is actually covering something over top of this blanket that I never realized, and I'm going to show you a sample in just a moment, but there's a lot more texture to this particular type of Afghan. Of course I'm going to show you just a homemade diagram just to show you what's going on in this, and I'm also going to teach you how to change the sizes if you wish. So let's begin to review. So let's review how to change sizes. If you would like to change the size of this particular Afghan, everything is in multiples of 17. So if you chain in 17, 17, 17, get to the length that you want. Remember that it does go up and down in a wave. Then just add 3 chains at the end. So this is considered multiples of chain plus 3. Do you get that? So chain 17, 17, 17, and at the end just add 3. Let me show you another part of this, which is a homemade diagram to show you what you're looking at. So here's my example swatch, and you can see that there's a lot of texture going on in here. This is a lot more than what I expected because I think the angle, the way that it's being photographed, you don't really get a good sense of how much texture there is on this thing, and because of that it's really cool. So the texture is all on one side, the other side is completely flat. So that's kind of a neat idea. So you're going to notice that it's going to go in up and down motion. So we're going to start on the edge and then come down, sweeping down, and then back over the top. See how it looks more solid, and then it looks like it's more spacey when it comes back down, just like you see here, and then it comes back up to the top. Let me show you the diagram because I think that'll make a lot of sense on what you're looking at. So here's my rough diagram to make sure that I understood the pattern, and what's going to happen in here is that we're going to chain in multiples of 17. So the multiples of 17 take you from one side of the chevron to the middle, and then another set of 17 takes you all the way down to the end. So at the very end you're going to add 3. So go in multiples of 17. So when you're chaining across, remember that when you hold a chain straight across, it's going to be longer than what it will be once it starts dipping down. So you need to take that into consideration as well. So what you're also looking at here is that I want to point out to you is that the top sides here is a halfway point in a chevron. That's just why I put this line here. So on the side edges it's half of what this is going up over top, and on the other side it's the same thing. So that you will notice in this particular diagram is that on the edge we're going to have 3 stitches that have 2 double crochets in each. Okay? In the middle, when it's not an edge, there's a total of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want you to understand that when you're going up over the top, as soon as you get the third one done, you know that you're at the halfway point, and then you're going to start going in the down motion. And then of course the other side we're going to have 3 double crochets on the edge. Remember that the chaining of 3 counts as a double crochet. So that is a really kind of an easy way to be able to master the pattern. Also, what you want to notice here is that there's always going to be only 5 double crochets that are in the bottoms. That's what's creating that gapping spaces that you see here. Okay, so it's creating a really kind of a cool effect. So if you can remember the number 6, because there's going to be 6 stitches that go up over the top, there's going to be 2 double crochets in each, and if you can remember that there's only 5 in the dip, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's an easy way to remember. So after you get your 6 done, and even if it's on the edge here, you're going to skip 1 double crochet, skip 1 double crochet, skip 1 double crochet, and you do that until you physically can see 5 done, skip the next one, and then that's when you start your 6 going up over the top with 2 in each, and then again the same way. So just remember it like that, and every row is exactly the same once you get beyond I think row number 3. So there's actually 2 rows in this thing. So what you're looking at here is that you have the row, this row, what I just explained to you, and the next row is just single crochet in every stitch going across, and then we start up again. So we just bring it up again, okay, with these the stitch work, and then we single crochet across. You will notice that the bands of color are really quite wide in this thing. You can change the color as often as you wish. I would suggest changing the color after the single crochet lines are done in order to give you this beautiful effect just like you see. Again, your creativity is completely up to you. If you would prefer to substitute and you don't like the edges as well, you can just go into both of the stitches instead of the back loop in order to keep it flat if you prefer. It will maintain its shape, and that's completely up to you. So if you'd like to do the pattern exactly as is, the list of all the colors are available on the free pattern, and there's a link in the more information of this video. You'll also need a size L 8mm crochet hook today, and again the creativity is up to you. So if you don't want as many colors, just look at the ball count quantity, and then you can be safely, if you get enough balls in order to do it, you can make this easily as well. You're gonna find this is gonna go really quick. It is a big hook, really thick yarn, and let's get started now. So let's get started with the slip knot. This color is called Grape. Okay, we are using a size L 8mm crochet hook today. So in the pattern you can either chain 105 if you would like to match exactly the pattern, or you can chain in multiples of 17. If you change the count at all, you will change the yarn quantity usage, so you'll have to figure that out on your own if you're gonna change that. So I'm gonna do a small swatch today, and I'm gonna chain in multiples of 17. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. That is one chevron. So the distance going across, you're thinking, okay, that's pretty wide. Remember, it has to dip, so it will not be as wide once you get beyond the first row. So I'm gonna do another chain of 17. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So either chain 105 or go in the multiples of 17, and when you're satisfied with the length and you're doing it in the multiples of 17, just add 3 at the end, and that'll keep you in balance. So 1, 2, and 3, and let's begin row number 1. So I'm bringing back the diagram just to show you here. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna go 4th chain from the hook, and we're gonna double crochet in. So the chain here and the double crochet count as both of a double crochet each, and the next 2 are gonna be 2 double crochets into each. So you're on the half side of a chevron. If you can remember that, it's easy. You skip 1 stitch, double crochet in the next, skip 1 stitch, double crochet in the next, and you do that so you have a total of 5 of these double crochets that stand by themselves. You skip 1, and then the next 6 will all be 2 double crochets each, and as you get past the 3rd one, you know you're at the halfway point to begin to go in the down motion. So without further ado, let's continue to explore this pattern. So let's work across the chain. So we're gonna go 4th chain from the hook. So we're gonna count back from the stitch underneath the hook. So 1, 2, 3, turn the chain over and go to the 4th over for a double crochet. So as I just said, that skipping of that stitches just created 2 double crochets to be into the same one. Okay, so this chain and this one are considered 2 double crochets. So there's going to be the next 2 stitches, there's gonna be 2 double crochets into there each. So 1 and 2, and then the next one. Okay, so you should see on the edges always in this pattern, when you're working on the double crochet element to it, there will always be 3 sets of 2 double crochets on the edge. So let's begin. We're gonna go in the down motion, we're gonna hit the bottom and then come back up the other side. So we're gonna skip the next chain and go to the second one over for a double crochet. Okay, we skip the next chain and go to the next one over for another double crochet. So we're not chaining or anything on the top, we're just continuing, and this is gonna cause it to bend and create the downward motion and then back up. We skip the next chain and go to the next chain over for a double crochet. Okay, skip the next chain and go to the next one over. So I'm looking for a total of 5 of these to be sitting by themselves. So I have my groups of 3 here, or groups of 2 here. You can see that I only have 4 double crochets, so I know I don't have enough. I'm gonna skip the next chain and go to the second one over for the final double crochet that sits by itself at the bottom. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so here's my group of 2, and then the next one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're gonna skip the next chain now, and now you're gonna come up over the top. So the next 6 are each going to be 2 double crochets each. Okay, so this is gonna start coming up, it's gonna force the chain to bend, and as you get beyond the 3rd one, that means that the complete chevron is done, and then we start going down in the downward motion, and because you're putting 2 into each of the chains, it forces it to turn automatically. Okay, So this is what it looks like at this point. Okay, so I've got 3 sets of 2 in. Okay, so you can see this here. So 1, 2 and 3. So this is 1 complete chevron, and now we're gonna go down the other side. So the next 3 are still going to be 2 double crochets each. I want you to visualize this thing like it's in different chevrons as you're going across. It'll make it easier for you to be able to follow this pattern. Okay, there's a total of 6 of these stitches in a row with 2 double crochets in each, but after the 3rd one, that's the center point, and that's what I wanted to point that out to you. Okay, so now all 6 are in, so you can see it's kind of bending over now, and now we're gonna come down in the sweeping motion just like we did creating in this section. So we're gonna skip the next stitch and double crochet into the next. Okay, we skip the next stitch and double crochet in the next. We want a total of 5 of these double crochets that sit by themselves. Skip the next one and double crochet in the next. And you're gonna do the same thing going all the way across your chain. So I'm looking for there to be 5 of these double crochets sitting by themselves before I make the next decision to keep moving along. So I'm coming up to the near to the end of the chain. So if you're not at the end of the chain, you're just gonna continue now to go up now, skip the next one, do your 6 in a row with 2 in there, and then come in the sweeping down motion as well. Okay, so I got my 5 in here now. I skipped the next one, and the final 3 stitches, I want to just verify that count first. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I want to skip the next chain and go to the next one, and there will be 2 double crochets into that one. And because I've had you chain in multiples of 3, or sorry, multiples of 17 and then added 3, you will exactly end up where you should if you've done it that way. And of course if you did 105 like as per the pattern, that you'll have the same idea as well. So there is 2 double crochets in each of the final 3 stitches that were left. So if this is not the end, you're gonna continue. The next 3 will be continuing to put 2 into each, and then you come in the down motion again. So this is what it looks like. It's going up and down, up and down. And so I'm gonna turn my work and we're going to review step number 2. In step number 2, we're gonna turn our work. So every other row is gonna be the exact same thing as what I'm about to show you. So the first row was doing this double crochet that we're gonna do, and then the next row is single crochet. To do this row, you're gonna chain up 1, and then every stitch is going to get 1 single crochet each. Okay, so you're gonna go completely across your line. This is gonna thicken it up a little bit, and this will be the base then for your next row. And after this point now, we're gonna start playing on the back loops only every time you do double crochets, but every time you do single crochets, it's just into the regular stitch in order to create that look that appears with the ridges. So it's just single crochet into each one going all the way across. One thing I like about this particular pattern is that every other row is kind of simple. I don't really have to think about this row. It's just 1 single crochet into each. So I kind of like the mental break from that this one provides. Just every other row I just have to think about it as far as the stitches are concerned. Not that I have to think that hardly about it, but it's nice to have breaks in a project. So I'm gonna go all the way to the end of the row. So every stitch is going to get 1 single crochet. And of course if your row is bigger, then you'll take a little bit longer than me. So I want to point out to you the final stitch so that you don't go off on your counts. So you're gonna see that you have 2 groups of 2 left over. Do not forget to go in the top of that last chain. Most people when they start doing afghans, they turn them into triangles by accident because they forget the last stitch. So this is not the last stitch. The last one is the top of this chain. Don't go into a gap space, go right into the chain itself for a single crochet. If you miss that, you're gonna lose your count in the next round. So let's move up to row number 3. So in row number 3, we're going to do exactly what we did with the chain, but this time there's stitch work to work with, and you're still skipping over stuff that when you need to go. The only difference now between now and to the end of the project, every time you do a double crochet, you're gonna work in a back loop only. So you're gonna chain up 3 to begin, and just like we did before, so the first 3 here, okay, do you see that we did 2 groups of 2? Or sorry, 3 groups of 2, and then we went sweeping down, and then there's 6 over here. Now what's happening here is that when we did the bottom here we eliminated stitches out, and when we did the tops we added stitches in. So you still have to, you can't follow exactly what you see below as far as like matching it, so you have to still keep your counts. So the first double crochet is going to be in the back loop only. Remember every stitch is made up of 2 strings. So for example if you go in the first string here only, this is a front loop, and if you go into the back it's going to be a back loop. So let's go. So we're just going to wrap the hook and going into the back loop only, and you're going to double crochet as normal. This is going to create that lipping effect that you see. So there's 2 now double crochets in the first stitch. The next 2 stitches are going to each be 2 double crochets into the back loop. It's all going to be back loop from here on in this particular row. Okay, so we go to the next one. So this is the end piece, so there should be 3 groups of 2 double crochets on the end, just like it was below. So now we're gonna start going down and sweeping up. So we skip the next stitch and double crochet in the next back loop. Okay, skip the next stitch, double crochet in the back loop. Okay, skip the next stitch, double crochet in the back loop. Skip the next stitch, double crochet in the back loop. And you do that so that you get 5 of these double crochets that sit by themselves. There's only 4 here, so I skip the next one and double crochet in the next back loop. So now I have my 5 here that are in the bottom, so we skip 1 more and then we start doing our 6 stitches in a row that each have 2 double crochets in it. Remember after I get past the 3rd one the chevron is complete for that particular section and we continue to move on. Again I want you to visualize each of these chevrons kind of different from each other just to make sure you stay on track. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So we're in the middle now. The next 3 are going to be still continuing to be double crochets, 2 of them into each. Many people lose their count when it comes to these kind of things, especially on the edge and sometimes on the top of these chevrons. So if you can visualize it the way that I'm trying to show you, I think it'll be a lot easier for you. So if you want to verify before you continue, there should be 6 groups of 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're gonna do in the down motion now. So we skip the next one and double crochet in the next. Okay, skip the next one, double crochet in the next. Skip the next one, double crochet in the next. Okay, and how many do we want at the base of these chevrons? If you said the answer is 5, you're right. So I want 5 of these double crochets to be sitting by themselves. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the next one, and then the final 3 stitches that you have left when you get all the way to the end will be 2 double crochets into each back loop. Just like that. Okay, so you just go up and down all the way across and just maintain. So it's really important that you maintain an edge, and this is what it looks like at this point. So we're gonna turn our work and go up to the next level, and then I'm gonna show you how to change color after that. So this is row number 4, and we're just gonna turn our work. We're gonna chain up 1, and we're going to single crochet into each stitch going all the way across. So it's what I've already shown you a row or just over a row ago, and just 1 single crochet into each going all the way down. So if you're going to change color, I would do it after you do a row of single crochet in order to keep your work looking consistent. It looks a lot more visually interesting too if you can change it properly at the right segment. So please just single crochet. I've already shown you how to do this. Single crochet all the way across, and I'll meet you back here and I'll show you how to change colors. I'm coming up all the way to the end of the row, and I'm gonna show you how to change color. I like to fasten off completely and add a new color without transitioning it in the middle. Remember that, don't forget that final turning chain is a stitch. Okay, so some people tend to finish too early. I got 1 more to go. Make sure you go into a chain, a turning chain, not to a gap space, to do your final single crochet. Okay, so this is what it looks like here. I'm looking at the back of it. Here's the front. So you can see that there's a nice lipping action going on. So what I want to do is I want to change my color, so I'm gonna trim my yarn about 8 inches or so, and I'm gonna pull this yarn through the loop, and what I want you to do is that I just want you to leave it there. on top of the line and turn your work, and let's grab our next color. So I'm grabbing this color next, and this is called Creamsicle. Looks pretty appropriate for that. So I'm just gonna create a slip knot to begin, and this is how I would start it if it were me. So right where you finished off, I want you to put your hook in and join it. Okay, and just this is the yarn going to the ball, so just grab that and push it through or pull it through. And now I want you to chain up 3. So we're gonna do exactly what you've already done here with the double crochets. We'll just review again. So we're gonna chain up 3. So 1, 2 and 3. Going in the back loop only in the first stitch here, just double crochet, but this time I want you to make sure that you get those yarn strands that are lying on top. What I say by getting, just lay it down on top, and then this string is gonna go up over top and bury it underneath, and you're going to double crochet. So the next 2, just like we did before, back loop only, again just burying in these strings underneath. It's a great way to hide that yarn without too much effort. If you would prefer to use a darning needle to put them in, again that's your choice. So I'm just doing the first 3 with 2 double crochets each to maintain the balance. Okay, remember that chaining of 3 counts as one of them. So 1, 2 and 3, and now we're gonna start sweeping down. At this point I would pull these strings here and I would trim. At that point, out of your way, peace of mind, you won't have tails hanging out. And now you're gonna skip 1 and just go to the second one over for a double crochet, and now you're going in the down motion and you're gonna sweep under. So skip 1, go to the next one, skip 1, go to the next one, skip 1, go to the next one. How many do I want at the when these go down like this? The answer is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and skip 1, go to the next. That's your last double crochet by itself. Skip the next one, and now we're gonna go up over the top. So the next 6 are gonna each be 2 double crochets. Back loop only, don't forget. Remember, after you get past the 3rd one, that's the halfway point of a chevron, so you know the first chevron is done. And you're just gonna go in the up and down motion just like I've already shown you. So there is 1 chevron completely done, and you're gonna go to the next 3, which is your total of 6. So 1, so this would technically number 4. This will be, there's 2 double crochets in the back loop only for number 5. And finally number 6, 2 double crochets. Okay, so you've now successfully gone over the top, and now we're ready to go back down. So skip the next one, double crochet in the next, skip the next one, double crochet in the next, skip the next one, double crochet in the next. You want a total of 5 of these double crochets sitting by themselves before you start going up over and doing the over motion. So let's verify. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Skip the next one, and then last 3 are each going to be 2 double crochets each. So do you remember what to do in the row after this? We're gonna turn our work in just a moment, and we'll review that quickly because these are all the same. There is a color palette on the pattern if you wish to follow exactly that, and the widths of these stripes are also different. So turning our work, we're just reviewing exactly what we already know. Chaining a 1, and this whole row is just 1 single crochet going all the way across into each stitch. So it's really not a lot of headache with this particular pattern. It's really quite easy. So just go up and down, and I'll meet you at the end of this row and just finally call this tutorial quits for today. So I'm coming up all the way to the end. Do not forget to single crochet in that final turning chain, or you'll be messed up, and then you can turn your work and continue along. So you can change the colors as often as you wish. You can have a really neat look just by doing this particular stitch. It's really quite fabulous. So your edges should always stay flat going in the vertical direction. You should not have any issues with that. And until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. Enjoy and good luck on this tutorial, and if you get it done, I'd love to see your creativity on Facebook, whether it's the Crochet Crowd or Yarnspirations. We'll talk to you again real soon. Bye bye.